Hello, and welcome to the Hispanic Scholarship Fund session about how to prepare, plan, and pay for college. To begin, we're going to consider why are we here? What are those concepts that we want to cover? What are our goals for you? They're threefold. First is to empower students and parents with the knowledge and guidance to create their own unbreakable paths towards academic and career success. We want you to thrive in your college education, in your pursuit of that college education. We want to reinforce the confidence students have in applying to top colleges, understanding that finances are not a barrier. Now, there are definitely some finances are something you're going to have to work through and go through some steps and processes, but it's not impossible and it's not a barrier. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. And we also want to encourage students and parents to leverage their networks and online research tools to help them make informed decisions now and into the future. We're going to answer the following questions. Why should you attend college? What is the best way to prepare for college? Can you afford college? And spoiler alert, the answer is yes. How do you identify the colleges that are the best fit for you? We are all unique individuals. So what are those things we want to consider? How do you submit a winning college application? What do you do to make the most of your college experience? And when should you start preparing for your career after college? One of the things we really want to emphasize for you, and we'll do it a couple of moments throughout this presentation, is the understanding that top universities are affordable. The price tag that you see, and for this instance, if it's $75,000, that price tag that you see is never exactly the price that you will pay. It will be some mixture of financial aid that will bring that cost down. And in fact, some of the most prestigious institutions with large endowments and large resources to give and provide to students and parents to make this college education even more affordable actually opens the opportunity to make them at times less costly than even a community college education. The average annual tuition and fees at a community college in the year of 2019 to 2020 was over $3,000. However, if you are a family earning $65,000 or less per year, Stanford, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and other top schools are actually then cheaper to attend than community college because with an estimated expected family contribution of $0 per year will mean that your full tuition, room, and board would be covered at these prestigious institutions. Now, it may look like 75,000, but when we understand that these kinds of resources are available, we know that we can apply, that we can pursue them. Myself, for instance, as I was very fortunate to earn a Yale degree, but absolutely that cost that I paid was not the full cost of tuition. There was a mixture of resources and financial aid that made it possible. For instance, at Stanford, parents making 150,000 a year or less do not pay tuition. So then the cost is significantly reduced even in those instances. So many resources available, we need to tap into them to make it a reality for ourselves. Why should you attend college? The truth is, you'll earn a higher annual and lifetime income, generous employer benefits from some of the top employers who are now requiring college degrees in many positions. But the opportunities and the benefits they give you will provide increased job security and job satisfaction, put you in the driver's seat of your career, gain invaluable knowledge and important life skills, meet new people and build your network, not only amongst your peers or your professors, but everyone that you meet throughout the process. It's really an incredible experience. Increased opportunities for you and your family, a better quality of life, happiness, decreased stress, and to become a role model and to empower others to make your community and the world a better place. The reality is that the attainment of a college degree has a generational impact, which means that those who will come after you, your siblings, your children, if you choose to have them, or even just your extended family and friends network, will then be and gain the confidence and the ability to understand for themselves what is possible once you start to pursue this reality for yourself. The truth is, we know this, that your income will go up with the attainment of college degrees. And the more that you advance your education, the more that your income is likely to increase over time. And similarly, what I want to draw importantly is the fact that the unemployment rate will also significantly decrease over time, which means with that degree, with that, advanced education, the likelihood of you getting a job is that much more likely. You become a critical asset in our economy, in our community. And again, being in the driver's seat of your career is such a desirable place to be. There are many careers that you can pursue. We're going to show you a few options here. And again, this is all in the interest of helping you to make informed decisions. So for a software developer, for instance, you can earn a median income of over $103,000 with just the attainment of a bachelor's degree. And importantly here, that unemployment rate is a 1.6%, meaning that you are all but guaranteed a job upon the attainment of a degree in computer science or software engineering, database management, or even information science. Some of the skills necessary will be mathematical aptitude, problem-solving skills, programming languages, organizational and time management skills, accuracy, and attention to detail. These are the kinds of skills that you will gain through your college education, not only in pursuing this major in particular, but through the totality of your college experience. This is why you become a valuable asset. For instance, being a physician, a 0.4% unemployment rate, meaning you are guaranteed a job with this pursuit of a doctoral degree in medicine. And your median salary can be nearly $200,000 or more. You can be a statistician making nearly $90,000 with a master's degree and an unemployment rate below 3%. You can be an IT manager earning $142,000 a year with an unemployment rate of 2% with the pursuit of just a bachelor's degree. Again, majoring in computer science, information technology, software, database management, and management information systems creates this opportunity for you. Now, this is not something you have to pursue. We simply want to make everyone aware of the kinds of salaries that are available, the kinds of opportunities that are available. The data shows that there is a high likelihood of employment with the pursuit of a STEM degree, which would be science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, how to prepare for college? The reality is there are two major buckets within the academic profile of a student, and that involves courses and testing. What are colleges looking for? Now, there are minimum requirements that vary according to your state, according to your school district. There are various different components. They might recommend 3 years of math or 2 years of a foreign language. The reality is, in order to be a competitive college applicant, remember that you are pursuing your college degree, not solely your high school certification. So when you're looking beyond your high school diploma, you want to make sure that you're being a well-rounded student and taking advantage of every academic opportunity in front of you. So whereas your school district or your state might only require 3 years of math, to be competitive, we highly encourage you to consider 4 years of English, 4 years of mathematics, 4 years of science or laboratory science, 4 years of social studies, to take foreign language all 4 years, and to also include the performing arts. So to be well-rounded, you want to ensure that you're going above and beyond, even beyond the minimum requirements for a high school graduation. In 9th and 10th grade, there is testing. Many of you may have already prepared for, some of you may be preparing for. Don't forget to register for the PSAT at collegeboard.org or the pre-ACT at act.org. Begin to explore the test-taking skills. There are free resources available to you in order to practice, in order to gain the skill sets for that test. Remember, that test is testing aptitude, but it's doing it in a very unique way. So you want to prepare yourself for the kinds of questioning and take advantage of things like khanacademy.org, KHAN academy.org. Wonderful resource, many different kind of proctored lessons, but also just example tests that you can take. For the SAT and ACT, when you're in your 11th and 12th grades, as well as advanced placement exams or international baccalaureate programs and exams, if you're in that program, those are important as well. You register in the same places, but again, continue to study, apply for fee waivers, ask about fee waivers, try to minimize the cost of this process at every opportunity. And test optional admission, you can go to fairtest.org to learn more about requirements. Please do understand that requirements do vary by institution. At the time of this recording is when COVID is impacting many of our communities, our entire country. And so testing is becoming less accessible. And so universities are adopting policies to maybe go test optional. Some institutions prior to the COVID pandemic have been test optional or will not even consider the College Board or ACT testing. What I will emphasize is that many and most do require. Some are making accommodations during this time, but the most important thing you will have to do is self-advocate, ask the institution that you're interested in applying to what their policy may be, and we highly recommend all of you to prepare along the way. Now, extracurricular involvement is just as important as the academics. You know, academics always come first, absolutely, but your opportunity to showcase your levels of leadership, your skills, your social skills, your leadership skills will be with involvement in the community. And there's a few different ways to be able to showcase that. They involve extracurricular and co-curricular activities, as well as athletics, performing arts, community service. There are so many different ways to get involved. Some of you are working, some of you are helping to provide for your families. All of these things, examples of going above and beyond what the general expectations may be for a high school student, is leadership. And we want to encourage you to be a leader in everything that you do, to continue to progress. If you're a member one year, pursue a leadership opportunity the next year. If you're in a leadership position, consider being president or vice president the next year. You know, continue to develop your professional and leadership skills by serving in those capacities. What they do for a university is inform them as to how you may be that kind of a leader on their campus, how involved you may be in their community that is very important to them. And additionally, building your network will be so critical for you, not just your peers, but also your teachers, counselors, employers, if you happen to be working, and other community members and leaders that you engage. Let teachers know who you are. You need to share your academic goals. You know, they can be there for you to mentor you, to guide you. You know, they went through a college education themselves as well, and they will need to be your advocates. They may be the ones who provide your recommendations, so they need to know who you are before they take that step on your behalf. You want to visit colleges and meet with representatives from schools of interest. Make an impression. You know, show them that you're distinctly interested, but be authentic and genuine. Letters of recommendation will be so important for you. So you want to develop at least, you know, a brag sheet, which is what we do, a humble brag, if you will, that we encourage, where it's bulleted with your accomplishments and things that you've done and achieved, or a full resume if you've built one of those. We highly encourage, just so that your achievements are very well laid out in a way that's easy to digest. Inform them about the guidelines, most importantly, to provide sufficient time. We encourage you to at least give your counselors or whoever's going to provide your recommendation at least a 2-month advance notice. And the reason for that is because you want them to take their time, to not force this process, but most importantly, they are also accountable to a deadline. And if those recommendations do not come in by the deadline, then your entire application may be disqualified. Even if all of your components are in time, if that recommendation is not submitted in time, then you can be disqualified. And so we highly encourage you to give them time to stay in communication and ensure that that deliverable is met according to the needs that you have as the student applying for college. You can afford any college, and let's talk about why that is the case. You know, there are some myths that most of us, you know, believe, and because it is an unknown process, something unfamiliar. But just because it's unfamiliar does not mean that it's inaccessible. And just because it's something new and different does not necessarily mean that it's difficult. So the first one we'll debunk is that applying for financial aid is difficult. It is not difficult, it is manageable, but it is something new and something that evolves over time. You know, what we're doing now in financial aid is a little different than what we were doing a few years ago. And so staying up to date is part of the work that is required to make it more understandable. The only type of financial aid available to me are loans. That is not true. There is gift aid, there is self-help aid, and this is what we'll talk through as well. It is not all loans that have to be repaid. And lastly, my family cannot afford to pay for the most competitive colleges. As a reminder, you know, these institutions with large endowments, with long histories, with ample resources are providing many of those resources to financial aid for students who need it the most. So first, we'll talk about the concept that financial aid is difficult. There is a free application for federal student aid, which is the largest provider of financial aid in the federal government. And it is what most institutions use to be able to determine your level of need, right? And so if you complete this application, then you're able to inform the process for your financial aid. Basic eligibility requirements include to be a citizen or eligible non-citizen. You have to be degree seeking, must have a valid social security number, not be in default on a student loan. You have to be registered with the Selective Service if you are a male, and you have no drug conviction. So it's pretty straightforward about what the qualifications are in order to complete this free application for federal student aid. When can you complete it? The good news is you can now complete the application, or at least access the application, after October 1 of each calendar year. And you want to complete it as soon as possible. The great thing about this year is the application opened on October 1, 2020. And for instance, this year, you would be able to use the 2019 tax return. So though you may not have your tax records because this year has not ended, you can use the prior year. And so what they refer to that as the prior year records. And so you're able to use the previous year in your current year when you're applying. And that's a valuable resource because you don't have to wait until so close to your enrollment date to be able to complete your FAFSA and receive the information you need to understand the amount of aid that you qualify for. You will apply for the FAFSA each year that you need financial aid. It is available on October 1 each year again. And other things to note is that many schools, many different universities and institutions have priority deadlines for FAFSA applicants. And so the sooner you get it in, the more that you will benefit, the more aid that you may receive. Many organizations use FAFSA to determine your eligibility for private scholarships as well. So they may request your CSS profile, which is provided by FAFSA, by the College Board, in order to be able to determine all of this information on your behalf and be able to use FAFSA as their guiding document. That CSS profile, again, is available through the College Board that you can ask for. Institutional applications for student aid, there are different applications that each university may have for additional aid, and scholarships is a form of gift aid, which is free. You do not have to repay them. So that's what we want to pursue the most. And there are also state applications for student aid as well. So forms of financial aid, debunking the myth that only loans are available for financial aid. That is not true. The most critical, the most desirable, and the best one that we highly want to recommend for you is the pursuit of scholarships, grants, and tuition waivers. So you want to pursue those as gift aid, and the concept of gift aid is the best concept, meaning that it does not have to be repaid. It doesn't have to be given back. There is self-help, which means there are federal work-study programs that you may qualify for according to your financial aid package, which means that you can work on campus or you can work near campus with other partner employer opportunities. There are oftentimes many, many, many different work opportunities that can be through athletic departments, it can be through libraries, it can be through student centers, it can be through student groups, where they are having employment opportunities that are facilitated in partnership with the university to provide you with either an income so that you can earn, a pretty substantial amount through work, or through by direct payment to pay down your tuition. So it really becomes up to the students sometimes, but this is another way to help you that universities try to help. And lastly will be the out-of-pocket, which is the family contribution. When you complete the free application for federal student aid, you will get an estimated family contribution amount, which means the amount that they expect you to pay to support your education as well. Now, my family cannot afford to pay for the most competitive colleges. When we think about places like Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Princeton, the University of Chicago, or the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, we think about the most expensive institutions in the country. But again, we cannot emphasize enough that these selective institutions oftentimes provide the most aid. In this example, you see to our left, there's a selective institution with a cost of attendance above $73,000. On the right, there's a non-selective institution, a non-selective college, which is a tuition just above $34,000. At face value, if you consider cost of attendance alone, it may seem that the selective college is actually beyond reach, right? That the non-selective college is less than half the price, therefore more accessible. And that's not necessarily true because your financial aid package may look different from institution to institution. Your estimated family contribution will remain consistent. So in this instance, it's $2,500 per per financial aid award letter, and that will be the same no matter which institution this student applies for, because that FAFSA record is the same across the board. However, the need becomes very different. So if you apply that, if you deduct the 2,500 from the non-selective college, the need is now just over 31,000. But for the selective college, the need is now over 71,000 still. But now let's get into the financial aid package and how they are composed, because you'll see that they're different from each institution. For the non-selective college, there is a state grant, which is generous in excess of $12,000. There is a Pell Grant, again, money that does not need to be repaid in the amount of $3,470. However, there is a subsidized loan in the amount of $5,000. There is work study in the amount of $3,500 and a university grant exceeding $7,000. So when it comes down to it, the total financial aid package for the non-selective college involves gift aid of $23,323, self-help aid of $8,500, that comes by way of work study and loans that will need to be repaid. And the total net cost of the non-selective college would be $11,000. Now let's look at the selective college. The selective college has a Pell Grant of $3,470, same as the other. They have a Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, that's FSEOG for short. That is a grant that, again, grant does not need to be repaid in the amount of $4,000. Now the significant difference here is the scholarship from the institution exceeding $61,000, along with the lesson work study of $2,700. So the gift aid from a selective college could include over $68,000 in gift aid, along with total self-help of $2,700. And when you net cost that, it's only $5,200, less than half the price of the non-selective college once we determine the specifics and the breakdown of each respective financial aid package. Now, what we want to emphasize is that this is a very simplified version, though the core concepts remain consistent. And it's very rare that any two financial aid packages look exactly the same, because they're coming from a variety of different sources and they come with different levels of support for different levels of students due to a variety of circumstances. So the point here that we really want to emphasize is that it really just depends. So don't be scared off by any price tag. Please do not avoid top tier institutions that you may qualify for because you make the assumption or the presumption that you may not be able to afford it, when in reality, you may qualify for more aid and the final cost can be less than a non-selective college or even a community college. Cannot emphasize enough that top universities are affordable. Again, families earning $65,000 or less will actually be covered with full room, board, and tuition, and families earning $150,000 or less will not pay tuition. Now, these income thresholds vary by institution, so you want to do your research. Please self-advocate, make the calls, ask the questions, do not make any assumptions, do not say no to yourself before you've asked the question from the university. Because the reality is everyone wants you to succeed. They want you to pursue an education at their institution, so ask the questions that will make it more possible for you to attend. Since 1975, the Hispanic Scholarship Fund has awarded more than $650 million in scholarships. Last year alone, we had over 115,000 applications. We distributed more than 3,000 scholarships that amounted to more than $31 million in support for students. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund scholarship is, of course, our core scholarship program, but we administer more than 28 different scholarship programs in any given year. This year, we have 10 scholarship programs, which means that the Hispanic Scholarship Fund and our staff and our team serve as the sole administrator of these scholarship opportunities, with the exception of the Gates Millennium Scholar, where we're partnering with some institutions to support that initiative and continuing to support those students through the completion of up to their doctoral degree. The last cohort for the Gates Millennium Scholar Program was selected in 2016. And so we are continuing to support those students. However, we now serve as the sole administrator of the Gates Scholarship, a wonderful last dollar scholarship. More information can be found at thegatesscholarship.org, where you can find information about that opportunity. That application opens July 15th of each year and closes on September 15th. And of course, it is targeting those that are going into their senior year. So it's really important for those juniors on the call, if you are low income and identify as Hispanic, African American, Asian American Pacific Islander, or American Indian Alaska Native, then you may qualify for this opportunity. There's a Wells Fargo Academic Leaders Fellowship Program, the Greater Cincinnati Scholarship, a Toyota West Dallas Scholarship, and many, many other opportunities that we provide. We encourage you to visit hsf.net to create a My HSF profile to learn much more about these various opportunities that can be available for you. Now, how to identify colleges that are the best fit for you? There's a lot that goes into it. First and foremost, there are various types of four-year institutions. There are public and private colleges that typically focus on undergraduate offerings. Then there are public-private universities that typically offer bachelor's and master's degrees. And then certain graduate and professional schools may offer master's and doctoral degrees. The thing that's important here to remember is that not all institutions offer the same programs. Not all institutions offer the same degrees. And so you want to make sure you do your research and really know what it is that they provide, what their opportunities may be, and don't necessarily overthink it in the sense that the place that you pursue your undergraduate degree does not necessarily have to be the place that you pursue your graduate studies. It may very well be, but it also may be the fact that one institution has the strongest program that you are passionate about at the undergraduate level, but another graduate school provides for that graduate program and that master's and doctoral degree in a program that is more desirable for you. So you can actually diversify and make that happen for yourself. But there are different kinds of institutions that are out there. Choosing the college that's the best fit for you involves a lot of different things to consider. Incoming class profile, majors, cost with financial aid, location, size, campus life, graduation rate, alumni network, and study abroad opportunities. We list these out because it's really interesting and important to consider that those factors are different across all institutions. Incoming class profiles will be different. Majors are not all offered across the board. The cost with financial aid will definitely differ at least a little bit. You may not like somewhere that's cold, like myself. I studied somewhere that was cold. I'm from somewhere that is warm. Now I live somewhere warm. You know, those kinds of things are factors you may want to consider. But as I share that, please know that those 4 to 5 years of college, those are those 4 to 5 years of your life, but it doesn't necessarily tie you down to that city or that state or that community for the rest of your life either. You can return to whatever is comfortable for you, or you can remain in this new environment that you fall in love with, or you can move to an entirely new city and establish your life and your career. Know that when you're considering where you want to study, location, size, campus life, those things should be contingent upon how you may thrive through your college education. Don't necessarily concern yourself with where you may live for the rest of your life, because that is yet to be determined. Aim high. Please do not undermatch. Now, all of you are incredibly talented. You're incredibly valuable. So understand your value, know your worth, and please do not underestimate yourself. A lot of these institutions have various resources to show data about the kinds of students that get admitted to their institution. Know that the review process is a holistic one, meaning that they will review everything within your application, not just your academics. Now, there will be certain schools that are right on target, meaning that you fit their profile. You've taken every class that they've required, you have a strong GPA that meets their normal, and you have an interest. So that's right on target. Now there are some safety schools. Those will be schools that you exceed those qualifications. You feel very confident in your admission because your GPA is either higher than their average or your test score, and or you know that you've gone above and beyond with your courses so that you've exceeded their requirements. And then there are reach schools. Reach schools simply means that one of your data points may not necessarily be aligned with their typical class. Please understand that they absolutely want you on their campus. You need to give them the chance to ensure that it's the right fit. And being the right fit at that university is not just your academics, it's not just your testing. It's not just your extracurricular involvement. It's not just how you articulate yourself and your story. It is a combination of all of those components. So do not undermatch, do not limit yourself because you are qualified to gain admissions. Cost is not always a factor, right? Financial aid is always available. So it may become a factor in your decision, but it should not become a factor. Finances should not be a barrier to your consideration of these opportunities. How to submit a winning college application. So this is important because there may be a lot of different requirements you want to get ahead of. Now, if you're an underclassman preparing for your senior year, these are things you should already be aware of. And if you're a senior, you want to make sure that you're on top of these things as soon as possible. You'll need to request copies of transcripts. You'll need to develop personal statements. You'll need to seek counselors and teachers for letters of recommendation. There are standardized test score requirements. Again, you'll want to research and confirm whether or not those are required from the institutions that you are seeking. But if they are, you need to be ahead of it. You need to take your test well in advance to receive the scores in time to share with those institutions as well. And there's also financial aid applications, additional scholarship resources that might be available. The sooner you get on it, the better off you will be, and I absolutely assure you that will be the truth. The college application, there are various websites as well that will allow you to apply to many institutions through the creation of a single profile. There may be some supplemental components by institution. However, organizations like the Common Application are at commonapp.org, or the Coalition for Access, Affordability, and Success at coalitionforcollegeaccess.org, are partnerships with universities where they are leveraging these digital platforms to gain access to your application collectively. And again, may require supplemental information, but it at least simplifies the process, at least in many instances. Please note that not all colleges are a part of the Common App or the Coalition for College Success. So please do your research. Again, it's a common theme here, but the concept of self-advocacy, of doing research and understanding that it depends, really is something that will inform your application process, because you'll be able to seek and understand what are the requirements for that institution you're interested in pursuing. And most importantly, most critically, many of you may qualify for fee waivers and to take these tests for free. So please do ask. There are also application fee waivers as well. So please do self-advocate and ask for those opportunities. Application tips, you want to highlight your greatest accomplishments in the extracurriculars activity section. And again, please be sure to consider leadership positions in your extracurricular activities if you haven't already. And if you have, please make sure that those are listed. Make sure you ask for recommendations from your teachers and counselors at least 2 months prior to the application deadline. Make sure you have a friend and teacher review your applications before you submit them. Ask them what they get from your personal statement in particular. See if they find anything strange or if they actually are receiving what you're intending for them to receive. And highlight different aspects of your interests and personality throughout the application. You want to showcase yourself as an individual. Personal statements are really your opportunity to shine. You want that chance to supplement your application. You know, when you think about it, much of your application are data points. They are grades from your classes, not with explanation. They are test scores that are a number, not with more context. This is your opportunity to really showcase yourself as an individual. We highly encourage you to explain challenging circumstances, which may not be a traumatic experience. It doesn't have to be something that was necessarily difficult, painful emotionally. What you want to be able to showcase is how you have applied yourself to overcome a challenge. That challenge may be in the classroom, it may be in personal life, it may be somewhere else. Whenever you provide an example, please do remember that your personal statement is your opportunity to showcase yourself, not that experience. You don't want to overshare. If you're speaking about a role model, You don't want to overshare about that role model to the point where they know a lot about that individual, but they fail to learn anything about you. Similarly, you don't want to focus on the experience or the challenges the challenges that you experienced. You want to focus on how you applied yourself to overcome that challenge, how you displayed perseverance, and how you overcame. You want to talk about passions, special talents, and unique experiences. Each one of you is a unique individual. You want to provide that insight. You want to be authentic. You want to use language that is normal for you. Now, if it's very artful and if it's very, if that's how you speak, then please do use those big words. But I highly discourage you from using those big words if they're not necessarily natural to you. This is not the opportunity or the time to bring out the thesaurus and incorporate new words that you've never used before. Those kinds of things come across as inauthentic. Again, you want to be able to speak clearly. You want it to be free of errors. You want to get peer review, but it should describe you. It should provide insight. It should make this admissions representative who is reading, who is a person, excited to get to know you and excited to have you as a member of their campus community. And you must give yourself plenty of time to brainstorm, draft, seek those peer reviews from friends, counselors, teachers, as well as revise and finalize. You are likely to go through many iterations of this personal statement before it is final. How to make the most of your college experience. You want to maximize your campus resources. These universities have tutoring centers. Do not be too humble. Do not be too nervous to seek out these resources that, in fact, your tuition is paying for, right? You want to seek these resources. They are here for you. They will emphasize that upon arrival, but they cannot force you to arrive, to go to those sessions, to take advantage of those hours with those helpful resources that are part of your total educational experience. Leverage them, use them. Go to the writing centers. Visit career services to find out about job opportunities and internships that may be available through your institution. Fellowships office, seek those opportunities. Financial aid office, be clear with them. Make sure you're meeting your deadlines, finding out about all the opportunities you need that you may be able to take advantage of. The things you want to do is network with alumni. Find out about people who have gone through that institution who may now be in a career opportunity that you want for yourself. Find out what they did and how they navigated their step-in process. That way they can help to inform yours. You want to connect with professors during office hours. You want to focus on your academics and long-term goals. And you want to apply to complete internship and fellowship applications. These are truly invaluable opportunities, not only that you will learn from, but also those things that may lead to your full-time career after college. And your professors may be intimidating, or you may think of it that way, but remember that they've dedicated their lives towards teaching. They want to develop you, they want to help you. So approach them, create that relationship, establish it professionally, and take advantage of the opportunity to learn from them even further. Wellness. Wellness is a state of complete well-being. What does that mean? Now, a holistic approach to this concept involves many different things. Emotional wellness, social wellness, physical, spiritual, intellectual, and financial. All of these things, mind, body, spirit, all come together to translate to your success as a college student. These things will be critical to your success. And you may or may not excel in every of these areas, or you may or may not feel completely comfortable in all of these areas. But it is important to take care of yourself in all of these areas. If you are suffering emotionally or physically or spiritually or intellectually, whatever might be ailing you, or wherever you might not feel that you're fully comfortable, you want to pursue resources that will help you take care of you. Take care of yourself before you can take care of others, right? So what you want to do is visit those counseling centers. You want to seek the professional guidance and help that is always available to you at your respective institution upon arrival. There's an interesting concept where they say to place the oxygen mask on yourself first before helping small children, or others who may need your assistance. Now, this typically applies to flying on a plane, but really we can apply this to life, because what happens when things get turbulent in an airplane, the cabin pressure may deplete rapidly. So if you do not provide yourself with the oxygen that you need in order to provide for others, then no one would be able to help, right? You won't be able to help them. You likely would suffer from not having enough air in yourself. Now let's think of this as a concept in life, right? Giving yourself the oxygen you need, giving yourself that emotional wellness, that social wellness, the financial resources that you can apply towards helping people will come with time and will come with the pursuit of your career that you qualify for, right? Building up those qualifications, gaining those assets, and then being able to help your community. A lot of us will arrive on college like I did in my first generation, just a struggling college student and wondering how I'm going to impact the world and wanting to do it right away. What we want you to do in college is to thrive in college, to be a college student, right? Reach graduation with a plan, pursue your career, build your capacity and your resources, and you will genuinely make a true difference at that point. Going above and beyond is really critical. That is how you stand out all the time, and how it may genuinely apply to your application as well, right? There are things that require zero talent that will always help you to stand out regardless of where you are, whether it's in a classroom, on an athletic field, or even in the conference, right? Things like being on time, work ethic, how hard you apply yourself, the level of effort, body language, showing intentionality with your presence, energy, your attitude is something you can always control, to apply passion to what you do, to be coachable, to be someone that can enter into a conversation, receive feedback, and grow from it. Doing extra, just doing more, going above and beyond, doing those things that not every student does that always translate to success. And very critically, just being prepared, right? Doing your homework and arriving prepared. How to prepare for your college, for your career after college. There are many resources in addition to wellness and tutoring and academics that will help you. The College Career Center you want to visit regularly, because you want to identify internship and fellowship opportunities that will provide you with the experience, the real world experiences that help employers meet you upon graduation and provide opportunities for you for full-time employment. You want to access HSF career resources as well. As you pursue an HSF scholarship, you'll visit hsf.net, create your MyHSF profile, submit your application, become a scholar, and then gain full access to our team of career services professionals who will help you navigate the opportunities for internships. Beyond the scholarship itself, we provide so many resources as it relates to resume building, interview preparation, a variety of opportunities to attend conferences to learn about careers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, finance, media and entertainment, and even entrepreneurship. We are launching a Hispanic Career Pathways initiative, which will help students up to between anywhere from 200 to 300,000 students per year navigate their way from college into career, talking about these core concepts and supporting them along the way. You want to conduct independent research on careers, go online, read some books, and meet people. There's no greater resource to a career or to anything really than firsthand experience from people who are in those jobs or in those industries that interest you. Engage in those conversations, learn as much as you can to inform your process. Sharpen your communication skills. Practice and develop your writing. Your writing will be critical all the way through your application process, but also in your development through your college career. All of these things come together, and writing plays a role in all of it. You want to build your communication toolbox, build your resume, establish a cover letter that defines your interest when you start to pursue employment and or those scholarships and internship opportunities. You wanted to refine your elevator pitch. This concept is the understanding that if you only had 30 seconds in an elevator with someone who can be a professional contact for you, how would you pitch yourself? You want to develop that 30-second pitch, be able to say your name, say who you are and where you're from and what you're interested in pursuing, and do it confidently. And do it understanding that that person who you're introducing yourself to may not be the direct individual that will become your mentor, that will be the person who can help you in that field, but you never know who they know. And they may connect you to someone who can help you that they know from their network. So being prepared to present yourself professionally, to be clear about who it is you are and what your goals are, can open those doors for you when you meet people. You want to refine your interview skills, being able to articulately introduce yourself, explain yourself, and understand how to, articulate your skills. Negotiation skills, right? You want to know how to advocate for yourself, to understand your true value as an individual, as a contributing employee, and as a potential leader in any environment. And you want to clean and sharpen your tools regularly. You never know when you're going to need them. You never know when a new opportunity will be available to you. So you want all your resources in front of you. Develop your people skills. You want to nurture your relationships. Don't just create connections, but stay in contact. Build and strengthen your network. You will never be hurt with more resources to leverage within your network. As you grow, you'll be able to support others. And as you grow, people will continue to support you. And you want to provide those opportunities. You want to know who are your references, right? Who are those people who will be your primary advocates? Develop those relationships. Stay in communication with those people because they will be your advocates. And you want to seek out coaches and mentors as often as you can. Understand that this process is lifelong learning. What we encourage as a general concept here as the Hispanic Scholarship Fund is we say to try pistachio ice cream. Now, pistachio ice cream is our example because it's green, it has nuts in it, it looks weird. Now, barring any allergies, some people may choose not to pursue it simply because of those things, right? I don't want to try it, I don't think I will like it. Now, well, the truth is you don't know what you don't like until you try it. So in this instance, it's pistachio ice cream. It could be sushi. It could be caviar. It could be anything weird that you think, I would never try that. What we want to challenge you to do is be open to trying things so that you understand them and you can make an informed decision about whether or not you actually like something. We want to apply this to colleges, right? You may not think you like a college out of state. Give it a shot. Why not research? Why not identify whether or not that school may be for you? You may not think that a career as an IT manager is anything you would consider. Why not give it a shot? Why not look into it? Do some research, maybe do an internship. Know for certain whether or not that career is for you. You may never see yourself at places like, Wells Fargo or Boston Consulting Group or Toyota. But who knows? Maybe there are these opportunities available to you that you can pursue when you do your research. You want to get comfortable being uncomfortable, adapting to new environments and situations, getting out of your comfort zone. Just be committed to lifelong learning, understanding that, you will not ever know it all, right? None of us will. There's always something to learn. There's always something to grow from. There's always some skill to refine. Commit yourself to that lifelong process. Be a leader in training, knowing that you're consistently developing new skills in leadership. And be courageous. Take that bold step. Don't be nervous about that internship or that job opportunity with that Fortune 100, Fortune 500 company. You absolutely deserve the opportunity. So give yourself that chance and present your best case and be courageous in that process. Know that you will make mistakes and you will fail. Not every door will open. But the key is whether you learn and grow from those mistakes and failures. You want to be able to experience these things to know how to be better the next time. And know that if the answer is no, then nothing changes for you. But if the answer becomes yes, and when it is a yes, those kinds of experiences and opportunities can change your life. And you want to provide those opportunities for yourself. Thank you so much for taking the time to review this presentation. We wish you all of the best as you pursue your college career. And we encourage you to stay in touch with the Hispanic Scholarship Fund by visiting us on hsf.net. Thank you so much and take care.